In manufacturing, change is pretty much the only thing you can count on. We're always changing designs, right? To fix a problem, cut costs, boost performance, or just deal with the latest supply chain headache. But here's the thing, when that change isn't managed, when it's just a quick fix made on the factory floor, that's when you get chaos. We're talking different teams using different specs, inconsistent product builds, quality problems slipping out the door, and yeah, angry customers. So today, we're going to talk about the formal, disciplined way to manage change, the engineering change order.
So what really happens when that super smart, well-meaning engineer makes what they think is just a tiny tweak on the fly? Well, that's like tipping over the first domino. The consequences can be fast and they can be severe.
And look, this isn't some textbook theory. This is what happens in the real world. You lose control of your design revision and bam, you get inconsistent builds. You get quality escapes that become field failures, and yes, even recalls. You're literally throwing money away on scrap and rework. Your supply chain has no idea what's going on. And the biggest one? You lose traceability. You can't say for sure what version of the product is actually in your customer's hands. This isn't a risk. It's a guaranteed outcome of informal changes.
All right, so how do we fix this? The solution to all that chaos is a disciplined process, and it's all built around the engineering change order, or what we call an ECA.
So what is an ESO exactly? Think of it like the official permission slip to modify a product that's already been released. It's not just some form. It's a whole workflow that spells out exactly what's changing, why it's changing, and how you're going to execute that change. It is the official way to control any modification to the design, the bill of materials, or even the manufacturing process itself.
Now, it's super important to understand that an ECO doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's part of a bigger cycle. It usually starts with an ECR, an engineering change request. That's the initial idea, hey, I think we should change this. If that idea gets the green light, it becomes the ECO, which is the detailed technical plan for making it happen. And finally, once the ECO is fully approved and ready to roll, an ECN, or Engineering Change Notice, goes out. That's basically the broadcast to everyone that says, okay, the change is official and it's live.
So what's the whole point of this? It's simple. To create one single source of truth. That's it. This whole process ensures that everybody, from engineering to procurement to the folks on the assembly line, is working from the exact same playbook. It kills those informal changes and that dangerous tribal knowledge that leads straight to chaos.
Okay, so we know what an ECO is, but why do you really need one? Let's talk about the common triggers, the everyday situations that absolutely demand this kind of formal control.
So, what kicks an ECO into gear? Well, it could be anything. Maybe you find a design flaw in testing, or worse, a customer finds it for you out in the field. Ouch. Maybe a key component suddenly goes obsolete, and you're forced to make a material change. It could even be something positive, like an improvement to boost performance, or an update to your manufacturing process. Or maybe a new government regulation comes down the pike. Every single one of these situations requires a controlled, documented change. No exceptions.
Let me be crystal clear here. Making these kinds of changes on the fly is not a shortcut. It's a one-way ticket to confusion, expensive rework, and massive quality failures.
So, to avoid that path to failure, you need discipline. A robust ECO process follows a really clear, logical sequence to make sure nothing ever falls through the cracks. Let's walk through how it works.
At a high level, the process has 5 core steps. It all starts with initiation and request. Then comes the really critical step, impact analysis and review. After that, the ECO gets formally created and sent for approval. Only then do you move to implementation and communication. And finally, you close the loop with verification and closure.
I really want to zero in on step 2, impact analysis, because this is probably the most critical stage. I once saw a company try to make a simple material change to save just a few cents per unit, but they skipped the impact analysis. Turns out, the new material wasn't compatible with a downstream process, and it led to a massive $1 million product recall. That is why this step, where you get your cross-functional team together to evaluate the full impact on cost, risk, and inventory, is absolutely non-negotiable.
An approval is not just a rubber stamp. The ECO is formally routed to what's called a Change Control Board, or CCB, which is made up of leaders from all the key departments. And nothing happens. I mean, nothing. No work begins, no tooling is changed, no new parts are ordered until this group gives its formal sign-off. This is the gate that stops unauthorized changes from ever reaching production. And the result of all this discipline is really powerful. You get full traceability. At any point down the road, you can pull the record for any component and answer with absolute certainty. What changed? When did it change? Why did it change? And who signed off on it?
This all brings us to the strategic payoff. Because a disciplined ecosystem isn't just about preventing errors, it's a fundamental driver of your company's quality and compliance.
From a Six Sigma perspective, uncontrolled changes are a primary source of what we call special cause variation. They introduce unpredictability and problems into your process. By enforcing a disciplined ECO process, you reduce that variation, and that directly leads to higher product quality and fewer defects escaping your factory.
And for many of you, this isn't just a best practice, it's the law. If you're in a regulated industry, think medical devices, aerospace, or automotive, you are required to maintain a complete auditable history of every single change. Standards like FDA 21 CFR Part 820 or AS 9100 demand it. An eco process is exactly how you meet that requirement.
Finally, it's so important to understand this. Ecos don't block improvement, they enable it. A disciplined process makes sure that when you make an improvement, it's implemented systematically, it gets validated, and it actually sticks, without creating a whole new set of problems. It's the infrastructure you need for real, continuous improvement.
So let's do a quick summary. Unmanaged change guarantees chaos. ECOs create control. Simple as that. An ECO is your formal authorization to change a released product. The process absolutely demands cross-functional review, formal approval, and crystal clear communication. And ultimately, a disciplined ECO system is non-negotiable for achieving quality, traceability, and compliance.
So, are you ready to transform your change management from a source of chaos into a strategic advantage? If your organization wants to make its engineering change process more robust and connect that discipline with Lean Six Sigma principles, visit us at sixsigmadsi.com. We can help you design or optimize your change control processes and train your teams to execute them with precision.